Hi everyone, my name is Joe, one half of the Merrill's EDU, and today we're here to talk to you about the exciting way to bring the game Among Us into your classroom. Among Us is a game where there's about 10 players that are all placed onto a rocket ship, and out of those 10 players, several are picked out to be what are called imposters. The imposters have a role and several tasks. Their job is to go and to complete those tasks and try to eliminate the other players, known as crewmates, as they work their way through the game. The crewmates, on the other hand, are spending the entire time trying to figure out who the imposters are, and if they can successfully figure that out, they can eliminate them. The reverse side of that is the imposters can also eliminate the crewmates, and so as you can see, it creates a pretty competitive environment. Now, how do we bring this into the classroom? It's actually not as difficult as it sounds. We can do this using Flipgrid, and let me show you how. So the first thing I've done is I've created a topic all geared towards our Among Us project here. So this is titled Among Us, and I'm just going to use this in my math class, solve the equations and see who the imposters are. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download both of those videos that we've included on our blog post, because as you can see, I've got a video for imposter and a video for not imposter, and I've got those two hidden, and I'll explain why here in a moment. The other thing that I've done is I've taken some time to go into my grid and post as if I was a student. So if I click on right here where it says view as student, I can actually go in here, and let me refresh this page, and I can actually go and record as if I was a student. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to set up 4 challenges for my students. So as you can see, I've got 4 challenges, and it's easy for them to see. The thing is that on the dashboard, educator's dashboard, I messed up on one of them, and you may not know this tip. I've renamed challenge 4, 3, and 2, but I forgot to do it for challenge 1. Did you know that you could go into here and go to actions and hit edit response, and then you can change this to challenge number 1. You have to keep a last name, so I'll just leave that exclamation mark there and hit update. And now when I go back to that topic, now I can see everything there. So how do we bring this game into the classroom? The first thing I want to do is I don't want my students working on all the challenges at once. So I'm going to hide each one of these. So I only want the first challenge to be visible. Now, if I go back as a student and I refresh the page, all of those challenges will now disappear except for the first one. So I'm ready for my students to start logging on and participating. However, I have to assign the imposters first. Now, depending on your teaching situation, this could get a little tricky. For us, we're teaching remotely, and we also have in-person kids. So I'm going to use our class calls through WebEx to send out a message to the students who are imposters, just a quick says imposter. And so I'm going to pick probably 3 or 4 kids out of the class who are the imposters. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them something that they have to do when recording their responses to my challenge that will hopefully give a tip for the rest of the crewmates or the other players playing the game so they can try to figure out who the imposters are. For example, be the first person to respond to someone else's video, or maybe use a certain image or symbol in your written response, or use a keyword in your video response, something like that, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send out that message, and so now my students who the imposters are know that they're the imposters. They also know what they have to do. Everybody else is just like, okay, I'm ready to go. I got to pay attention now. So this first challenge is just something simple, 2 plus 2, right? And so the kids are going to log on, they're going to record a response, and they're going to record a video explaining their strategy of working through. Hopefully they're going to draw a picture of it too. Then, after they've submitted their responses, they are not allowed to watch anybody else's videos until I say so. Then, when you are ready, you'll say to them, okay guys, go ahead and watch each other's responses. Now, for me, what I did was I told my imposters that they had to be the first person to respond to someone else's video. So now, those imposters, as efficiently and as academically as they could, try to watch as many of those videos and be the first to respond because they could eliminate more people that way. So the imposters logged on and they said, hey, that was a great response. Great job explaining your thinking. Boom. And if they were the first person to respond to that student, that crewmate, they had then eliminated that crewmate. And so now they're one less person that could participate in the voting process. Now that doesn't mean that that person is out of the game still. Here's what I mean by that. If you are a crewmate who gets voted off, you can still actually participate in the game, but you just can't cast a vote. So you can still play, solve the challenges, and think to yourself like, that was rather suspicious when they answered it like that, right? Or that's rather sus, as they call it in Among Us. And so your students can go about playing that. Then, after the first round is over, you can have what's called a class meeting. You can then tell your class to have a conversation and talk about, did they see anything suspicious in anybody's video that maybe led them to believe that that person might have been an imposter? Because then you can cast a vote. And when you cast the vote, if the class guesses the imposter correctly, guess what? The imposter has been voted out. And now the imposter doesn't necessarily mean that they have their game over. It just means that they can't eliminate anybody else. They can still participate, solve the problems, and they can now try to figure out who the other imposters are. However, they do not get a vote in the class vote for the next round. So when the next round is ready, you want to come back over. As they're having that class discussion, you want to toggle from hidden to active on challenge number 2. The other thing that you're going to want to do is when they're talking about who they think the imposter is, you're going to want to toggle this one on or this one on. So as they're talking, you want to then say, okay, guys, who do you think the imposter is? And when they tell you who the imposter is, you're going to very quickly change it to either active or hidden, depending on which one it is. If they guessed it right, you're going to toggle on the active imposter. If they got it wrong, you're going to toggle on the not imposter. And then you can come back over here, hit the refresh button, and now challenge number 2 shows up and the imposter video will come up. And if you play this video, then it's going to look like this. A little suspenseful. So then they can say, yeah, we got the imposter, right? And they will be able to eliminate that friend. Then they can also go back here and the second challenge is already ready for them. It's the same process repeated all over again. And you'll do the same thing after you'll come over here. You'll put this back to hidden. Once the class goes and does their votes to try to see if they can figure it out, you just toggle the next challenge back on, and then you'll go ahead and toggle on the next imposter or not imposter video, either active or not active. If you have any questions about this, definitely check out our blog post or reach out to us. We're happy to help out. We are excited to see how you guys might do this in your classroom. It's a pretty fun and exciting activity, and it's a neat way to bring in some engagement to your classroom. So by all means, let us know how you're doing this. We can't wait to hear from you guys. See ya.